Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin and today I wanted to make a little chat video just talking about one way that I think it is really good to keep you on budget and help you save money, and it's something that you can change quite easily, and I just have found it to be a helpful tip over the years. And as I've said before, I'm in like extreme savings mode, so I feel like in June a lot of expenses crop up, and in a way when you have kids and they're at school it's hard to avoid them, like teacher presents and end of year events and like just even fundraisers, and there's just always something. And then one of my daughters has a couple of birthday parties coming up and there's just like something every week. I am a bit conflicted about what to do because my daughter goes to gymnastics, which she just started. She's been really into dancing and gymnastics just in her own time, and she was really eager to go, so I signed her up for gymnastics. That has ended up being like a more costly activity because, well, you have to pay for it monthly, plus you have to pay for a gymnastics club membership and then the specific club membership. But I felt like it was something I really thought through before I signed her up for it, and I watched her consistently doing gymnastics herself beforehand, and then I realized like she does really want to do this and will stick with it. Before this, I had been speaking to her teacher during the last parent-teacher meeting, and she had said to me she thought she should go to this, like it's like a theatre group thing that they have in school. Well, it's after school, it's like an extra club that you have to pay for. And at the time she wasn't going to gymnastics, and I applied for a bursary for it. If you're on a low income you can apply for one and get like full funding so that she could go basically without having to pay anything. And then I kind of like just put it to the back of my mind because I kind of thought I wouldn't hear till September, and she wouldn't be able to start it until then anyway. And then I got an email today saying that she had been granted a half bursary, and the classes are £15 normally each, so it would be £7.50 per class, and then she would get a t-shirt. I now am torn. I don't know whether to let her do both and just figure out how to budget for it, to get her to pick one, or just let her stick with gymnastics and tell them she won't be doing it. And yeah, if you have any thoughts on it or what you would do in that situation, feel free to share them with me because my head's kind of pickled today. And with the end of term coming up and so many different things happening, I feel like I've got serious decision fatigue and I can't even make the most basic decisions. So like even making dinner tonight, I was like, what am I gonna make? And I couldn't think. And we got like a Tesco delivery last night, and I actually booked bowling for the same time as the delivery. So then my partner ended up staying home waiting for the delivery while we went bowling, and I just feel like I'm in that kind of mode. I think it's like end of termitis, and it is so humid. Like it's not as sunny now and it's clouded over. It looks like, well, I say that and then the sun pops out. It's meant to rain, but it is so warm. We're a country that's ill-equipped to deal with that because nobody has like air conditioning, and we have this one little fan in the living room, but it is on all the time and it doesn't do a whole lot. And I might need to get one for the kitchen because it's just always roasting in here. But I had a really nice morning. I went out for coffee with a friend. She's like a mum of a little girl in my daughter's class, and we just had a nice slow start to the day. We had coffee and then we had peppermint tea and we just had a long chat, and it was nice to get out and just socialise and do something different, and it was a really lovely chat. And it was just nice to have a change in routine. Usually Monday is my day when I get straight into like housework, washing the car, cutting the grass. Speaking of which, I need to do both of those and I'm really not in the mood. I've been doing some cleaning. I'm roasting now, as I said. I've mopped, cleaned the bathroom, done all the bins, sort of like planned out dinner, made some bread dough for later, and I have to go and get my daughter in about an hour from school, and then we have to wait for my other daughter while she's at a club, so we're going to have like hang out in the car time for an hour. Anyway, I feel like I'm just kind of waffling and not getting to the point. So I wanted to talk about how being busy is kind of the key to frugality in a way, because the busier you are, the less time you have to think about spending. And I think that that is the time when you make the most impulse purchases and you end up buying things online you hadn't planned to buy, or just going out on a whim to the shop, or even calling out for one single thing and coming back with like 10. Like, I think that not being busy enough is the main reason why people spend that, and maybe feeling overworked and feeling like you have to compensate for it by treating yourself. But for me, as somebody who stays at home and does their own like writing and YouTube and stuff, and I'm managing my own time, I find that not having enough to do, not being busy enough, is one thing that makes me make unplanned purchases and makes me more likely to go shopping as a hobby. And I really haven't been doing that this year. Like, even though I quit my official no buy year because I just found it too rigid, I have been sticking to being really conscious of my spending and planning purchases and not making unnecessary ones, and looking for other ways around things and just living frugally in general. And if you allow yourself to have too much free time, or to get bored, or face this like emptiness and kind of void feeling, like, you're more likely to reach for something very quick to satisfy that and fill the gap. But those things aren't deeply satisfying long term. So it's kind of like having a cigarette. It satisfies your craving for that particular cigarette, but then once the next craving comes, you have to reach for another one, and it's basically not a solution to it. And I think that it's really important to have plenty of things in your life to feel excited about that don't relate to shopping and spending money. So for me, like, I don't get bored easily, although sometimes I do have a feeling of deep boredom, but I think it's more like I don't know what to do next, and I'm maybe between projects or working on too many things at once, and I get overwhelmed and don't know what to do. And just because of mental health issues and stuff, like, and during certain phases I just have low energy and I don't feel as motivated to do things. Basically, like, I feel like my mum provided us with the skills to fill our own time very easily, and that was like a really great gift. And I don't feel like I've passed that on as well to my own kids, because although they're creative, they don't have to be bored as often as I did when I was a kid, and they don't then have as many creative opportunities in that way, because there's more scheduled activities, and then they fill their empty time with playing with their friends in the street. And I'll just take them to places like the library, or then they'll ask to watch TV. And because they have kind of quite little downtime, then I want them to have that when they're watching TV. Like, having fuzzy hair today is not helping with the whole heat thing, and I feel like it's getting all fuzzy, like the humidity just doesn't agree with my hair. Anyway, so I think it's important to have things that you genuinely get excited about or look forward to doing that are not expensive to do. So they can be things like taking the time to rest, napping, having a bath, like looking after your body, making food and drinks at home, looking for alternative ways to do things that are cheaper. For example, instead of buying like a box of pre-made smoothies, like, make your own with whatever fruit and veg you have in your fridge or freezer. Like looking after your garden, deep cleaning your house, or even just rearranging a targeted area. But like, also things that you find deeply satisfying, like it could be music, like making your own music, writing your own songs, forming part of a band, joining a choir, going to singing lessons or something like that, where you're putting money into something you're investing in that it will kind of keep rewarding you long term. It's not just like throwing money at an unplanned purchase and then waving goodbye to that money forever and not getting anything beyond the initial novelty of the purchase. And for me it's like writing books, writing short stories, reading a lot of books from the library obviously. I like to paint, I like to rearrange things and declutter. I like to look after the garden and spend time outside reading and writing. I like to go for long walks because I always feel like those are the times that I get the best ideas. They just all start coming to me, and it's like it helps me to process things, like I'm putting puzzle pieces together that were all mixed up before I went out, and then during the walk they all come together to make the right picture, if that makes sense. And if I'm working on an artistic project, I'll often get breakthroughs while I'm doing that, or having a shower. And I just think the kind of movement and getting into your body and out of your head really unlocks stuff for you creatively and emotionally. I love going swimming and to the spa, which is included in my membership. So I'll go to the sauna steam room. They have these heated tile beds, and then I'll go for a half-hour swim as well. Sometimes I do think you spend to save because, for example, I was talking yesterday about my Vitality membership that we got, where you can go like ice skating, bowling, to soft play, swimming, there's water slides, like there's so many different centres and gyms and stuff. It's a set fee, and actually 1 month is about the same price as one activity in certain places. So that is an expense that to me makes a huge amount of sense, because especially with the summer coming up, we can just go there, and that can be like our automatic, oh it's raining, what are we going to do today activity, and I don't have to pay for individual ones. And yeah, I can just go prepared, bring our own water, bring our own snacks in the car, and it just keeps us busy and active and healthy, and it is so much cheaper than if you just did lots of individual activities at different places and added that all up. Like for example, now the open farm that is near our house, for all of us to go one time is about £40 now. It used to be much less than that, and you can get a summer pass, but we wouldn't go that often, especially since getting a dog, because we can't bring him for his walk there. So like for example, we could have wasted it on one trip there, but instead we're putting the same amount into an entire month of unlimited activities and different activities. I just think keeping busy is so important. It gives you a sense of purpose, and it's good for your mental health because it feels like you're achieving things, even if it's only on a small scale. Like even if it's making a to-do list of the chores you need to do and maybe a treat activity and then ticking them all off. You are sitting with empty hands and just waiting for something to fill the void. You're more likely to reach for unhealthy habits to do that. Yeah, and I find things like crochet really good because it's very low cost as an activity to start. Like I just got some wool and some needles and that was it, and you can learn online. Like I learned how to do it from watching YouTube videos, and then also just like finding patterns online and reading them. Sometimes I have to refresh my memory because different projects require different stitches and things like that, but it's something you can do while you're watching TV or while you're talking to people, and it keeps your hands busy. And I think if your hands are busy, they're less likely to reach for your phone or computer or your bank card, or to come up, or your mind's less likely to come up with excuses to go to the shop. Because I can see myself when I'm getting, I don't know if I would classify it as bored, but it's something similar to that. I'll quite often think of things like, what do I need to get from the shop? So then I'll come up with a reason to go, for example, to Home Bargains and get floor wipes or something like that we need. But instead of just going in and out, because I've got free time and I'll wander and then inevitably stumble across things that I can justify buying because I'll think we will need that at some point, or that is useful, even though it never would have entered my mind otherwise. So I think it's important to try and shut down those opportunities for spending before they have a chance to kind of take hold. And I do find that when I go to shops like that, I never come out spending less than about 30 or 40 quid on like nothing really, because I'd planned to get one item. So I just think that those moments are kind of dangerous to your budget, and it's better to fill your time as much as you can with things that you already have the supplies for, or even invest in the supplies for a new project, knowing that over time it will save you a lot of money, because once you have that initial outlay, like, you won't have to keep spending towards it, at least until you run out of supplies, and that is going to be so much cheaper than so many other activities that you could be doing instead that involve transportation, like eating or drinking out because you haven't planned ahead, calling into shops, like making unplanned purchases, just stocking up on things that you don't truly need. Yeah, so I just think that that tip in itself has really helped me over the years, like not letting myself get bored. I was kind of brought up like that anyway, where my sister and I were kind of like told off if we used the word bored, and I know I would be like that with my kids too, where my mum is a teacher and she would always be like, I hate that word, don't use that word, because she sort of thought boredom was just laziness, and it is really, because you're just reaching for something quick and easy instead of just using your brain and using the tools you have at home to like fill the gap that you're feeling in that moment. And it will pass too. Like, I think you can sometimes act on that feeling. It's like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's kind of like if you go through a breakup and you're desperate and upset and just emotionally unstable in that moment when it has first happened, and you want to reach for the person who has actually kind of harmed you because it's what you're used to and it's like an easy quick fix, and they will be the thing to plug the gap. But actually, if you come up with other ways around that, where you find things that deeply satisfy you that have nothing to do with something that you can't rely upon, then over time you will basically have this whole store cupboard of tools at your disposal, and you won't reach for the easy answer, because sometimes the easy answer is the thing that actually ends up costing us the most, and that destroys our budget, and it's just not well thought out. It's not logical, and it's not the best thing for you long term. I hope that this video was helpful, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to go and hoover and finish my coffee and then go get my daughter from school, and I'm going to bring some snacks for the car and some books to read to keep her entertained while her sister is at table tennis. So I will make another video soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Bye. Just wanted to show you my flowers because my dad made me this little bouquet while I was at his house yesterday, and he has a greenhouse and they smell so nice. It's sweet pea, and I actually can't remember the name of the other one, but I've had little bouquets from him before and they've lasted for like 2 weeks.